Chapter 661, Undying Sun Ginseng, 2. Chapter 661, Undying Sun Ginseng, 2. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. After this beast tamer's talent has been plundered by you, do you still want to turn their pet into an undead and snatch it? The gem cat curled its lips. You said, that depends on the strength of the pet. If it's too weak, it's not worth occupying the spatial position of the bone sword. Damn it, you still look down on overlords. In the dark forest, a beast tamer in dark green ancient clothes hidden in complicated plants was sitting cross-legged on a tree, meditating with his eyes closed. Not enough, not enough, not enough. A violent, bloodthirsty, and low voice kept coming from the beast tamer's heart. High-level beast tamers are rare individuals. We definitely won't be able to encounter the next batch in the short term. Let me rest first, and then we'll change places to hunt. This beast tamer's face was pale and he looked very weak. From time to time, he would take out a pill from his clothes and place it in his mouth. Your recovery is too slow. Its voice was impatient, but suddenly, its tone changed. Eh? There's movement? This is a supplement's aura? A violent, bloodthirsty, and low voice sounded, stunning the beast tamer. She opened her eyes. In the next moment, a fragrance slowly came to her. In an instant, she felt that her exhausted body had improved a lot. This was very unbelievable, because she had contracted an overlord-level creature at level 6. Her body had already been dragged down to less than 5 years of lifespan, and her body was constantly on the verge of collapse. In order to maintain her life, she had tried countless medicines, but the effect was very small. But just an aura just now actually made her feel like her body had changed its vitality. What exactly was it? However, she still said cautiously, something's wrong. This is the territory of the green-scaled dragon. It has always loved to eat nourishing spiritual fruits. How can a nourishing life form come here? Cut the crap. It looks like its level isn't low. Let's catch it and split it. The violent voice sounded, making the beast tamer fall silent slightly. If you continue to mess around with your overlord-level strength, we'll all die. This is the border of Donghuang. The beast tamers you eat are all from Donghuang. There are countless people who can get rid of us over there. You're too careful. Are you looking down on my overlord-level strength? As its voice fell, the life figure that made them sense that something was wrong slowly appeared. It was a ginseng baby about 0.3 meters tall in a white coat, a doctorate hat, and a green leaf scarf. The appearance of this ginseng baby made the beast tamer and the mysterious voice who sensed its figure fall silent. Monarch level, ginseng baby? The mysterious voice was shocked. It was completely new. Something's wrong, this isn't a wild ginseng baby. Its clothes are from Donghuang. However, at the same time, the female beast tamer's vigilant mental voice instantly sounded. In the next moment, the ground directly collapsed and cracked. Countless wooden spikes shot into the sky and bent towards this ginseng baby. Boom! Underground, a huge tree demon rose from the ground, revealing a deep red single eye as it waved its bloodstained branches. Name: Earth Abyss Demon Tree. Attributes: Wood, Earth. Race level: High-level Monarch. Level of growth: Overlord. Energy points: 30.6 million. The Earth Abyss Demon Tree and the female beast tamer stared at the ginseng baby that had been pierced by the earth thorn. But not long after, their expressions changed drastically, because with a boom, the earth thorn that surrounded the cage was immediately torn into pieces, turning into messy fragments that bounced in all directions with a wind pressure. Inside the earth spike, the ginseng baby that was attacked just now was not affected at all. There wasn't even dust on its body. At this moment, it was holding a sword-shaped leaf like a sword immortal, looking elegant. The commotion just now was caused by it waving the sword leaf. Boom! A terrifying overlord-level might erupted from this ginseng baby. The power of the time fruit was activated. The ginseng baby, which was originally at the monarch level in the other party's eyes, instantly increased to the overlord level. The energy wave was at least twice that of this Earth Abyss Demon Tree. Seeing this scene, the expressions of the Earth Abyss Demon Tree and the female beast tamer changed drastically again. Overlord level ginseng baby, how is this possible? Retreat! They instantly had the same thought because everything was too ridiculous. However, baby ginseng didn't seem to want to give them this chance. Yi? Anything is possible. Baby ginseng's expression was calm. The sword leaves created through plant control vibrated crazily in its hand, and from time to time, sword cries that tore through the air could be heard. In the next moment, like a sword light that broke through the darkness, baby ginseng's aura was like an unsheathed sharp sword. As baby ginseng hooked its finger, the sword leaf directly turned into a sword light with a light and slashed at the Earth Abyss Demon Tree. Towering Emperor, sword control technique. Why does this baby ginseng know how to attack? The Earth Abyss Demon Tree was shocked. Swoosh! The fatal aura made the Earth Abyss Demon Tree's entire body turn cold. At this moment, it still didn't understand what was going on. However, with its wood element strengthening talent, it no longer cared about anything. It directly hardened its entire body and resisted this attack. With a boom, the sword leaf hit the Earth Abyss Demon Tree and drew a sunken wound on its stomach. And because of the hardening existence, half of the sword leaf was directly stuck on the Earth Abyss Demon Tree's body, making it unable to take another step forward. Chapter 662, Undying Sun Ginseng, 3. Chapter 662, Undying Sun Ginseng, 3. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. It was only a light injury. The attack couldn't completely break through its defense. Ooh? Seeing this, the Earth Abyss Demon Tree heaved a sigh of relief. It suddenly felt that it was only SOSO. Yes, why should he be afraid of a mere ginseng baby? Even if it was at the Overlord level. Not good. But at this moment, the contractor of the Earth Abyss Demon Tree felt a life-and-death crisis. The half-sword leaf on the Earth Abyss Demon Tree's body flickered with orange-red light. It emitted a warm aura. That was the light of an explosion. On the other side, baby ginseng shook its head. As expected, it was still not suitable to be a sword immortal. Explosion was the eternal art. Mutated moon explosion. As the light became stronger and stronger, the Earth Abyss Demon Tree's pupils constricted. Boom! A dazzling red light came out, accompanied by a world-shaking bang. The rolling heatwave tide rose into the sky like a volcano eruption. The red smoke swept up energy fluctuations like sun flame flowers that instantly bloomed in the sky. The violent hot wind and shock wave uprooted countless huge trees and burned them. At this moment, a strong wind and strong light blew over. The female beast tamer on the tree instantly sensed the death message of the Earth Abyss Demon Tree. It also made her already weak life aura even weaker because of the backlash of her pet. Right on the heels of that, her figure disappeared from the explosion like the Earth Abyss Demon Tree and died completely. Even the enemy's beast tamer couldn't be seen. Until everything calmed down. It was directly killed? Shiyu and the others slowly walked over, and the gem cat asked. Wood element strengthening talent. Boring. I looked forward to it for nothing. I mean that tree. Didn't it become an undead? No. Although it's at the Overlord level, it's a monarch race at the Overlord level. It's too weak. It's useless for it to become an undead puppet, Shiyu muttered. It was all for nothing. When the gem cat was at the Overlord level, it had more than 50 million energy points. The two Overlords baby ginseng had killed previously also had about 50 million. This 30 million was too weak, equivalent to the weakest Overlord. It had no collection value at all. Moreover, as a beast tamer, it was also professional ethics not to throw a pokeball at the pets of other beast tamers. Yitilda in the hot ruins, baby ginseng straightened its hat and took root on the spot with a weak expression. It used the earth chain to recover its state. Just now, it used the time fruit to erupt, directly draining its state. Although it was just a leaf, it had exhausted most of its energy. The profundity was the final explosion. You've changed, the Gem Cat also muttered. This kid wasn't that little brat who had to have a bodyguard even when killing Monarch-level undead in the undead battlefield. The pair just now should be from the Divine Tree Nation, right? Shiyu asked. Well, both pets and beast tamers, the Gem Cat analyzed. Moreover, that overlord should be an overlord who was given special power by the controller of the Divine Tree Nation. Otherwise, how could that guy break through to the overlord level? Ordinary Earth Abyss demon trees don't have the habit of sucking blood, and this one seems to like sucking blood very much, and it likes to suck human blood very much. It's probably the way it breaks through to overlord. The Gem Cat said. Also, it's quite ruthless to squeeze its contractor dry. That beast tamer's life fluctuations are like candles that are about to be extinguished. It was completely using unorthodox methods to use beast tamers as a resource to break through the racial restrictions. Most high-level pets of totem countries had mastered such skills. Shiyu fell silent and said, if I contracted an overlord-level pet in advance, would I become as weak as that woman? The Gem Cat grinned. That's not for certain. Even if you don't contract in advance, you look pretty weak. TCH Shiyu shrugged. His physique shouldn't be something others could compare to. Probably. Shiyu came to baby Ginseng's side and handed it a level 7 energy crystal to accelerate its recovery. At this moment, the Gem Cat said again, speaking of which, what was that move just now? No matter how weak that overlord is, under normal circumstances, it shouldn't have been blown to pieces, right? It's the Sun Flame Flower. Baby Ginseng added the power of the Sun Flame Flower, Shiyu said. Yi! Baby Ginseng held the energy crystal and nodded. On the top of Baby Ginseng's head were 10 ginseng leaves and a ginseng flower. There were great tactics here. It stored the mutation power it had collected through its mutations. For example, the 10 ginseng leaves stored spatial power and were an important source of power to use the anti-buggy energy fruit in battle. Among the ginseng flowers, Baby Ginseng was currently storing the legendary sun power from the Sun Flame Flower. Sun Flame Flower? The Gem Cat was stunned and said, isn't that Kai Tong's resource? Am I? The sword spirit pendant hanging on Shiyu's neck swayed. There were 2, so it was fine to give one to Baby Ginseng. As long as Baby Ginseng had more chances to revive, it would be fine as long as Baby Ginseng allowed it to eat it a bit. Baby Ginseng. Shiyu said, my new idea is to let Baby Ginseng evolve again through the Sun Flame Flower. Moon explosion was a method to use moonlight radiation to make plants explode, and moonlight came from the sun. If Baby Ginseng could also mutate through sun-type resources, its self-destruction might be even stronger. When it exploded, the sun and moon shone together. The explosion of the sun was stronger than the explosion of the moon, right? Chapter 663, Undying Sun Ginseng, 4. Chapter 663, Undying Sun Ginseng, 4. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. If only Baby Ginseng could master the nuclear fusion ability of the sun. However, the Sun Flame Flower was a legendary fire element resource after all, and Baby Ginseng was a wood element resource. Such a reverse element mutation was definitely very dangerous. Therefore, at the moment, Shiyu was letting Baby Ginseng experience and adapt through this method. In fact, he had already adapted most of the time. He wasn't prepared previously, but now, Baby Ginseng's revival skill had already cooled down. When he found an opportunity, he might be able to let Baby Ginseng try using the Sun Flame Flower as a mutated resource. If it succeeded, it would be the Undying Sun Ginseng. Even if it failed, it could still revive. Not only could the time mark be used to self-destruct, but it could also be used to bet on mutations. Is it reliable? The Gem Cat's eyelids twitched. The last time, the fact that you let Baby Ginseng absorb the power of death was already unreliable. This time, you still want Baby Ginseng to absorb the legendary sun power to evolve? He really wasn't afraid that Baby Ginseng would die. It was as if he thought everything would be fine since it could revive. Yeah. Baby Ginseng wiped its tears. If not for the sake of being first in the team, which wood element plant would be willing to absorb the power of fire? Next, Shiyu and the others searched. In the end, the Gem Cat discovered the traces of the green-scaled dragon. The place where they were fighting just now was actually the edge of the green-scaled dragon's territory. As Shiyu and the others infiltrated and discovered many green-scaled snakes, they understood that they had already entered the other party's territory. The green-scaled snakes were commander species creatures, while the green-scaled flood dragons were low-level overlord species creatures. They were the overlords of this forbidden zone. They were at the top of the food chain in the form of races, commanding other weak races. Yi! After returning home, baby Ginseng was extremely excited. Yes, it was these guys. However, although baby Ginseng was excited, the Gem Cat's expression was a little troubled. Are you sure you want to provoke this guy? It stood on the same mountain as Shiyu and looked at another mountain. It said, although I can only sense it from afar, I can roughly confirm that this guy is on a completely different level from that Earth Abyss Demon Tree and that Heavenly Cloud Tiger. It's very likely a top-notch overlord. In the Gem Cat's opinion, even if Shiyu and the others worked together to fight a top-notch overlord, it would be very difficult. At that time, it would most likely still need its help. Top-notch overlord? Shiyu was stunned. Are you sure? In any case, the aura is very strong, the Gem Cat said. The places where overlords live all year round will have their deterrents and reflect their strength. It's also a warning to the enemy. Shiyu smiled and said, it's good to be a top-notch overlord. It's meaningless to fight ordinary overlords. Why don't we use a top-notch overlord to test 11 and the others' strength? In any case, there's still you. Gem Cat. At #%#yuan at yuan. I'm not done, the Gem Cat said. Moreover, from the situation over there shouldn't be just one overlord, but 3. The Gem Cat said, I sense the aura of 3 overlords from that side. The other 2 shouldn't be stronger than the green-scaled dragon, but they're definitely not weak. They won't be weaker than that Heavenly Cloud Tiger. 3? It's already good enough that these overlords don't fight for territory. Why are they still gathered together? Are they playing together? Green-scale Mountain. In the green-scaled dragon's territory, apart from the green-scaled dragon, there were indeed 2 overlords. One of them was the ice-eyed white tiger, and the other was the mountain tortoise. The incomparably huge green-scaled dragon circled around the rock and stared at the 2 overlords below. Have the 2 of you already decided? I've decided. In any case, I don't have much lifespan left. I might as well give it a try. The mountain tortoise and the ice-eyed white tiger roared. During this period of time, the overlords of the forbidden zone of the Lost World often received invitations from the totem countries. The conditions promised by the totem countries to join were getting higher and higher. Apart from level 8 resources, there would also be humans as blood food and nutrients for growth. Compared to the totem country and the human countries, the wild overlords without factions were originally the weaker side. They didn't rely on any faction because they were used to freedom, but this time, it was unusual. This time, the World Tree allowed the totem country to participate in the World Tournament. Most of the totem countries had been invited to the World Tournament. If they joined the totem country, they would have the chance to obtain high-level resources and human blood food to participate in the World Tournament and change their fate. For some wild overlords, it was quite a temptation. After all, the habitat of the World Tree had a large number of mythical and legendary ruins that could change one's fate. It was no longer a secret. In the mouths of humans, this was a world competition, but for the totem country, this was the battle for the ruins' mystic realm. Ha ha, then the 3 of us brothers will fight together. The green-scaled dragon laughed. The mountain tortoise said, ha ha ha, good, unfortunately, if only we had another bird-type brother. At that time, we can get a combination of the green dragon, white tiger, vermilion bird, and black tortoise. Chapter 664, Shiyu's Mecha Form 1. Chapter 664, Shiyu's Mecha Form 1. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. Green-scale Mountain Cave. The green-scaled dragon, the ice-eyed white tiger, and the three brothers had already decided to seek refuge in the largest totem country nearby, the Dragonman Empire. The humans in the Dragonman Empire were all hybrids. Being able to withstand their need for nutrients, they could provide them with more growth nutrients. Beast taming contracts were two-way. When the beast tamer was strong enough, the beast tamer would occupy the dominant position and could forcefully control pets. When a beast tamer wasn't strong enough, the pet would dominate and use the beast tamer as nutrients for growth. Of course, in the human countries, beast tamers and pets were still on equal footing in most situations. In short, they were all overlords. No matter which totem country they went to, they would be guests. Not good. Enemy attack. The green-scaled dragon smiled, but suddenly, its smile stopped. Its expression changed drastically as it sensed a spatial wave accompanied by a fatal threat. Boom! The smiles of the other two overlords also stopped. Boom! Endless strong light gathered inside, and the mountain cave instantly collapsed and destroyed. At this moment, the eyes of the three overlords were still filled with an incomprehensible expression. As the shock wave arrived, they quickly used defensive skills to protect themselves. Roar, damn it! The ice-eyed white tiger roared in anger. Because in an instant, it had a premonition that it would be the most miserable of the three overlords in this enemy attack. Let's shoot them first. Although the gem cat had said that there were three overlords, Shiyu still couldn't help but attack. So be it. No matter how strong an overlord was, unless it was someone like the tyrannical sea legend's giant Leviathan, it was definitely not the gem cat's match. Since he had a bodyguard, why not go crazy for once? As long as he killed all of them, Kai Tong would have 3 overlord-level undead. Such a configuration could even make a legend like Hua Xiaojin, who only had 1 overlord, cry. Of course, it was rare for him to touch the other party's nest under the concealment of the gem cat without alarming any life form. Shiyu didn't have much honor here. Instead, he directly used the energy fruit stored in Baby Ginseng's laboratory for experiments to get Buggy to pack them up and teleport over to detonate them. These energy fruits were explosion fruits of various attributes: metal, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, thunder, light, darkness, and space poison. Their combined power was not small. Of course, it was definitely not as strong as Baby Ginseng's full-strength attack after eating the time fruit. In the ruined space, Baby Ginseng didn't dare to experiment with the overlord-level energy fruit yet, because if it wasn't careful, it would blow itself up. Also, this was even less powerful than Baby Ginseng's self-destruction. However, it was enough to greet and knock on the door to call the enemy out. Boom! 9-colored black smoke and white light enveloped Green Scale Mountain, and the angry roars of 3 overlords came from inside. As a cold wind blew, a huge green-scaled dragon was the first to rush out of the explosive area and fly into the sky. The clouds rolled and howled from the clouds, as if a roaring dragon was churning in the clouds. On its huge body that was dozens of meters long, the green-scaled dragon's huge dragon eyes instantly locked onto Shiyu and the others on another mountain. At this moment, the gem cat had long run off to God knows where. Shiyu, this human, naturally became the most conspicuous enemy in its vision. Name: Green-scaled dragon. Attributes: dragon. Race level: low-level overlord. Level of growth: overlord. Energy points: 70,860,000. At the same time, Shiyu also saw it and gasped hotly on the spot, increasing the speed of global warming. This energy value was indeed a top-notch overlord. Although it was a little inferior to the 87 million energy points of the Dragon Palace City Whale General and the mutated giant Leviathan that was nearly 100 million energy points, this energy value was already higher than the energy of most overlords of Dragon Palace City. Such a real dragon was actually raised in a small forbidden zone. If it was just a simple high energy value, that would be fine. It was nothing, but looking at the age of this dragon, its skill proficiency was probably ridiculously high. Moreover, Buggy could sense that there was a dragon vein underground. It was an environment with strong dragon element energy. Perhaps this dragon could also borrow the power of the earth vein. After all, this was its territory. the power that an overlord creature could display in its territory was multiplied. It was equivalent to borrowing the power of nature. Just as the cat said, it was not easy to fight at all. Moreover, Shiyu also discovered that this guy actually had the will of an overlord. In addition to the other two overlords, it was even harder to fight. Ah! In the next moment, a figure enlarged with a bang. In the ruins, a huge turtle more than 10 meters tall with a rock texture all over its body, as if it was carrying a few small mountains, appeared with a furious voice. Name: a mountain tortoise. Attributes: Earth. Race level: low-level overlord. Level of growth: overlord. Energy points: 61,220,000. This huge turtle was similarly not weak. Under the explosion just now, neither it nor the green-scaled dragon suffered obvious injuries. There were only light injuries, which made Shiyu, who was on the opposite mountain, excited. If he could transform these two overlords into undead, even if their strength would be weakened after the transformation, they would definitely have the strength of an overlord race. Chapter 665, Shiyu's Mecha Form, 2. Chapter 665, Shiyu's Mecha Form, 2. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. This was unlike the previous lousy tree with 30 million energy points, whose strength was not strong to begin with. It relied on the evil path to break through. If it turned into an undead, it probably wouldn't have much battle power left. It might not even be able to defeat Ji Feng's pet. It would only waste the power of the bone sword for nothing. But these two were completely worth it. Of course, their battle power would probably be several times higher than that monarch race's Earth Abyss demon tree. Roar! At the same time, a huge white tiger with ice blue patterns all over its body and ice blue eyes came out. It was also nearly 10 meters long, and the deterrent strength was only inferior to the dragon might of the green-scaled dragon. However, the injuries on its body were the most serious among the three overlords. Name: Ice-eyed white tiger. Attributes: Ice. Race level: low-level overlord. Level of growth: overlord. Energy points: 62,740,000. At this moment, the ice-eyed white tiger was extremely furious and felt extremely aggrieved. Because in the face of the sudden attack just now, the green-scaled dragon was strong enough and could mobilize the power of the dragon vein here to strengthen itself. It could naturally withstand it at a lighter price. As for the mountain tortoise, it was not difficult for it to instantly mobilize the power of the earth to strengthen itself between the mountains. In addition, the mountain tortoise was known for its defense, so only the ice-eyed white tiger was injured. Its territory was the snow realm. Fighting here would undoubtedly weaken its battle power a lot. The wild overlords abroad are indeed stronger than the wild overlords in the 7 countries. Seeing these 3 overlords, Shiyu had already confirmed using the heavenly cloud tiger of the 7 islands and the prediction owl of Imperial Capital University. These 3 were undoubtedly much stronger than they looked. Among them, with a lower race, this white tiger even had stronger strength than the heavenly cloud tiger. Although this big cat was still lousy. Roar! Human, courting death. In the distant sky, the green-scaled dragon was the first to roar in anger. Green light immediately condensed in its mouth, and an ear-piercing sonic boom appeared around the green light. With a boom, a huge dragon breath that looked like a dragon instantly opened its huge claws and attacked Shiyu and the others. At this moment, Shiyu had already issued battle arrangements to every pet beside him. The telepathy transmission was completed in an instant. Ling, Kai Tong, Susu, the 3 of you deal with that white tiger with me. 11, Baby Ginseng, the 2 of you deal with that big turtle. Buggy, I'll leave this dragon to you. Let's see who can defeat the opponent first. Buggy? Buggy, didn't we agree to let Baby Ginseng fight the overlord of its hometown? Baby Ginseng, woo woo woo, I changed my mind. This guy is stronger than I imagined. As expected of my childhood trauma. Buggy, all the best. When you defeat it, I'll defeat you in the future. That's equivalent to me defeating it. Buggy? Shiyu, believe in yourself. You're the number one in the team. This time, you can mobilize the power of the legendary Dragon Ball to a greater extent. In a battle of the same race, the other party still has the will of an overlord. This is a very good opportunity for you to train yourself. If you can't defeat it, there's no need to defeat it. As long as you stall until we finish the other two overlords, if we still have the strength, we'll help you. If we don't have any spare energy, let Teacher Gemcat help you. Buggy sighed, but then its battle intent rose. Shiyu, its beast tamer, had handed the strongest enemy to it. Even 11 had to team up to fight, while he could take charge and deal with the strongest opponent. Legendary Dragon Ball. This was the key to Shiyu letting Buggy fight the green-scaled Flood Dragon alone. The legendary Dragon Ball was more useful to Buggy than the Time Fruit. The current Time Fruit could at most raise Buggy to the ordinary Overlord level. Moreover, the side effects were huge. After a few battles, Buggy would collapse from the overload. However, with the legendary Dragon Ball and the Dragon of Imagination skill, Buggy could increase its energy level to 100 million at most. At the same time, with the corresponding strength of its dragon body, it wasn't difficult to unleash a totem attack. Of course, this was a one-time use. It wasn't that the Dragon Ball couldn't take it, but that if it exceeded this limit, Buggy couldn't take it. The conventional usage method was the way Buggy used the legendary Dragon Ball to train daily. It only raised its energy level to about 50 million. This way, it could maintain its battle state for a long time and wouldn't affect anything. Buggy usually relied on this state to train its Dragon of Imagination skill proficiency for the team meeting to defeat 11. Of course, against this green-scaled dragon, its conventional state was definitely not enough. Even if the green-scaled dragon didn't mobilize the power of the Dragon Vein, it would be difficult. Therefore, its only way out was to overload the Dragon Ball and raise its energy level and physical level to the same level as the green-scaled dragon. Then, through powerful accompanying moves, it could deal with it. Although it was still very difficult for it to withstand it at its current level, it was at least qualified to fight. Roar! When the green-scaled dragon's dragon breath condensed, Buggy on Shiyu's shoulder also moved. It directly turned into a huge green divine dragon phantom, and its entire body was wrapped in a powerful dragon might as it soared into the sky. The light on its dragon claws became stronger and stronger. In the blink of an eye, its strength and speed suddenly erupted. Under the drive of psychic power, its huge body tore straight at the incoming dragon breath. Chapter 666, Shiryu's Mecha Form, 3? Chapter 666, Shiryu's Mecha Form, 3? Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. Space Control, Space Rending Claw. Boom! The green-scaled dragon, the mountain tortoise, and the ice-eyed white tiger were all shocked. They only felt a white light flash in front of their eyes. Then, their pupils constricted even more. Under this huge claw that could cut through space, the dragon breath wave instantly divided into two, erupting with a violent impact. Under the surging energy, the green divine dragon transformed by Buggy continued to fight the green-scaled dragon. Roar! Purebred Overlord Divine Dragon, Transcendent Dragon Might, you guys, pray for yourselves. The green-scaled dragon determined that this green divine dragon was difficult to deal with almost instantly. It actually had transcendent-level dragon might, just like it. Moreover, its aura wasn't much inferior to its own. This made the green-scaled dragon feel as if it was facing a great enemy, and it directly entered a battle state. It didn't have the time to care about what the mountain tortoise and the ice-eyed white tiger were thinking at the moment. Almost instantly, Buggy's space-rending giant claw, a super spatial attack that even 11 couldn't withstand, tore apart the dragon breath and waved in front of the green-scaled dragon. As for the green-scaled dragon, it also waved its dragon claws. Roar! Little brat, who are you looking down on? However, it didn't directly collide with Buggy. Instead, it staggered and directly endured this attack. Moreover, it also made Buggy directly suffer its attack. Exchanging injuries. Boom! Move! The corners of Shiryu's mouth also twitched. This power seemed to be much stronger than the skill power of the Gem Cat when it first broke through to fight the Vortex Demon Beast. Was the Gem Cat really just lazing around and not secretly training? Speaking of which, green-scaled dragon, ice-eyed white tiger, mountain tortoise undead. In addition to Kai Tong, who's controlling them, this seems to be able to form a group of the 4 undead holy beasts. Shi Yu suddenly realized something. In the weakest heavenly fox nation, if the fox god didn't appear, could it run rampant? At this moment, the Gem Cat was not in the mood to listen to Shi Yu's joke. It looked at the huge amount of energy crystals consumed by the move in its own space and felt its heart bleed. This paywall battle strategy was specially developed by it to show off. The price was huge. It hoped that from today onwards, Shi Yu could show it more respect. Chapter 671, Obtaining 6 Overlord-level Puppets, 1. Chapter 671, Obtaining 6 Overlord-level Puppets, 1. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. In the huge pit, the green-scaled dragon was already on the verge of death. The Gem Cat's power control was very good. Not only did it ensure that the green-scaled dragon lost its ability to fight, but it also didn't completely die. If it was completely dead, Shi Yu and the others wouldn't be able to transform the green-scaled flood dragon into an undead puppet. He had to use the bone sword or the undead revival to kill it. The power of resources and skills would change the structure of the transcendent life form's soul the moment it was killed, allowing it to inherit the power of its body when it was alive to a certain extent and become a new undead race. At first glance, the effect of the bone sword was actually similar to the undying fruit. However, there was still a difference between one as a legendary resource and the other as a mythical resource. That was, the bone sword was only effective for lives below the totem level, while the mythical resource, the undying fruit, was known to be effective for demigod-level lives. As for whether it was effective against mythical creatures, he didn't know. Of course, if Kai Tong's undead revival skill reached transcendent and Dao proficiency, it wasn't impossible for the skill effect to exceed the legendary resource, the bone sword. Buzz! The huge mecha slashed down with its sword. The green-scaled dragon in the huge pit also died completely like the ice-eyed white tiger and the mountain tortoise. Although they were already dead, their spiritual bodies had already been imprisoned by the bone sword. At this moment, they were already puppets of the bone sword. Through max-level possession, Kai Tong, who had already controlled the bone sword, immediately erased the remaining intelligence of the 3 undead through the power of the bone sword. This way, it would be easier to control. Be it the bone sword or Kai Tong's undead revival, after killing the enemy's undead could still retain some of their consciousness from when they were alive. Of course, if it was to control it as an undead puppet, it would be best if its mind was erased too. Kai Tong could also choose to let them retain some consciousness. However, these 3 overlords looked very boring. There was no need. With their death experience, if they retained some consciousness, they would definitely be crying, making a fuss, and being fierce in the bone sword. Roar! At this moment, Shi Yu and the others had already exited the mecha form. After all, this form consumed too much energy. Kai Tong also returned to its sword spirit form and possessed the bone sword that had returned to the size of a fruit knife. It began to summon the undead puppets they had hunted together. Roar! In the grey mist, a green-scaled dragon in the form of an illusory spiritual body, as well as an ice-eyed white tiger and a mountain tortoise, were summoned by Kai Tong again. Roar! The 3 undead overlords still looked majestic, but they submitted to the bone sword and Kai Tong. Name: green-scaled dragon spirit. Attributes: undead, dragon. Energy points: 53,150,000. Name: ice-eyed tiger spirit. Attributes: undead, ice. Energy points: 47,060,000. Name: a mountain tortoise spirit. Attributes: undead, earth. Energy points: 45,920,000. The moment they appeared, Shi Yu detected their approximate energy fluctuations through the index. What a pity! Seeing this, Shi Yu couldn't help but say regretfully, "It's much weaker." At the side, the Gem Cat also landed and looked at the three huge undead that had submitted to the bone sword in front of it. Well, it's the same as the effect of experimenting with commander level and monarch level ferocious beasts previously. It's much weaker than when it was alive. Fortunately, most of the skills have been inherited, and the skill experience has not been lost much in the soul. It can still display overlord level battle power, Shiyu said. Although the power of the legendary bone sword was magical, the process of reviving the undead still couldn't avoid losing most of its power. However, Shiyu was already very satisfied at this level. For example, the green-scaled dragon's perfect super skill, the reverse scale, and the ice-eyed tiger spirit's perfect super skill, absolute 0. These skill experiences were all preserved well. It could be said that any one of these three undead could kill the Earth Abyss demon tree they had encountered previously. As for that Earth Abyss demon tree, baby Ginseng only defeated it with all its might. Kai Tong controlled a total of 3 such undead. In addition to the power of Kai Tong's main body, if there was another team meeting, even if Buggy could use the legendary Dragon Ball, the first place wouldn't be Buggy's, but Kai Tong's. Even if 11 erupted with the power of a demon god, it was hard to say if it could defeat the current Kai Tong. After all, 11 had to erupt to the limit to have any hope of defeating each of these 3 overlord undead. Without the support of the Ginseng baby, it was very difficult for 11 to erupt for so long. As long as Kai Tong controlled the undead behind him and played tag battle, 11 would suffer. How long is the shelf life? The Gem Cat asked again. At the moment, these 3 undead were all remnant souls created by the bone sword. It was impossible for them to have such a long lifespan like complete overlord undead. Less than a year, but if I nurture them in the bone sword, they can always exist before the bone sword's energy is exhausted. Moreover, they can be strengthened by the bone sword and become stronger. When the opportunity comes, they might even be able to turn from remnant souls into complete spirit bodies. There's no need to worry about this. However, Shiyu pondered. Why did he feel that in a year, they would look down on overlord undead of this level? However, it wasn't a big problem. When the overlord undead were eliminated, it wasn't useless. He just had to let Kai Tong cut off and absorb it through the spirit release and transform it into nutrients for Kai Tong's own growth. In the end, be it the power of the overlord undead or the power of legendary resources, they wouldn't be wasted. Chapter 672, Obtaining 6 Overlord Level Puppets, 2. Chapter 672, Obtaining 6 Overlord Level Puppets, 2. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. How nice. The Gem Cat couldn't help but be envious. This looked much cooler than a clone. Mi tilde. In the sky, Kai Tong was also asking excitedly and happily. Therefore, when was the next team meeting to be held? Otherwise, it might as well be now. Woo! 11, Buggy, Baby Ginseng, Susu, and the others looked at the sky. Damn it! 11, Buggy, and Baby Ginseng were the most envious. Now, not only did Susu and Ling have followers, Kai Tong also had them. Moreover, they were 3 overlord-level sidekicks. This was too strong. Previously, it was extremely difficult for Shiyu and the others to take down these 3 overlords together. And with the help of the Gem Cat, they had all become Kai Tong's puppets. A long time ago, Kai Tong could rely on a big boss to lead the team to kill undead and farm experience to level up. Why were there more big bosses now? Damn it! Mi tilde's Kai Tong chuckled. Of course, for Kai Tong, it felt that there was a flaw. Although it could form the 4 undead holy beasts with them, in its aesthetic sense, these 3 overlords weren't the most perfect. It didn't put them at the same level as the mechanical tyrant dragon and the duckbill beast at all. Otherwise, it wouldn't have erased the other party's mind so readily. In Kai Tong's opinion, it was impossible for Shiyu to take these 3 guys in as members of the second team. Only undead puppets that could qualify as members of the second team were worthy undead puppets. In Kai Tong's aesthetic sense, it wanted an overlord-level frost dragon undead. It would be best if its energy level when it was alive was above 80 million. Only then could it recreate General Mu Huayan's lineup. Of course, it was referring to other frost dragons. It definitely had no intention of offending Mother Dragon. Moreover, a lackey without intelligence was slightly lacking. Of course, if there was a better choice, it would also happily accept it. For example, the Ginseng Baby Undead. Clean up the battlefield. Let's go. We've been delayed for a day. It's time to set off. Shiyu looked at the messy battlefield and took a deep breath. Let's go, let's go. It's a pity about these corpses. The Gem Cat looked at the bodies of the three overlords. Most of their strength had been extracted by the bone sword and given to the corresponding spirit body, so they could no longer plunder high-level resources from them. Unfortunately. However, although it couldn't be sold for much, it could still recover some HP. The Gem Cat planned to put away these resources and sell them when it returned. However, Shiyu said, "It's not a pity, not a pity. Buggy, quickly put it away." The Gem Cat? Buggy. Shiyu said, "The corpses of 3 overlords are also good stuff. Although they can't be sold anymore, the corresponding physical strength is still preserved. That tiger might be a little weak, but it's not a problem for the mountain-suppressing tortoise and the green-scaled dragon to beat up ordinary monarchs with their physical strength alone. Moreover, the overlord-level body should still have a trace of affinity with the power of nature. Let Buggy use the worm silk parasitic thread to repair it with the Ginseng Baby. Just with the physical strength and the power of nature, the battle power of the 3 physical puppets might be able to be on par with that Earth Abyss Demon Tree. It's worth collecting. You can have the evil undead sorcerer and the evil GU master." Buggy was overjoyed. Could it have some too? After all, even if it didn't contribute to this battle, it had worked hard. 11. Baby Ginseng, Susu, and Ling cried. It was already too much to bring legendary equipment, and now they even had 3 overlord-level puppets. The Gem Cat was also furious. What level of capitalist was this guy? It was fine if he extracted his soul, but why did its body have to be repaired and made into a puppet? Wasn't that 6 overlord-level puppets? Shiyu was excited. Although he had been delayed for a day, it was still worth it. With the 6 overlord puppets on him, he had a new alternate identity to play with on this trip to the Heavenly Fox Nation. He didn't have to worry about causing trouble for Dong Huang at all. Under the totem level, it was invincible. After Shiyu and the others cleaned up the battlefield, they collectively entered the ruin space to rest. The Gem Cat came to travel with the Ruins Ring. Although the Gem Cat had discussed with Shiyu to let Buggy be the driver before setting off, Buggy probably wouldn't recover without resting for 2 days. This made the Gem Cat curse. If it had known, it would have helped Buggy in advance. If it had attacked directly from the start, at least it wouldn't have to be a driver. Unlike now, where it had to be a driver again. Moreover, the original driver also intercepted the few spoils of war. Unfortunately, there was no medicine for regret. In this world, it was a lonely traveling cat. Because it was going to pass by the totem country, for the sake of safety, it had to be vigilant at all times to avoid the enemy country totem noticing. The Gem Cat didn't dare to use its slightly weaker clone, and could only do it itself. At this moment, in the high-level ruin space, Shiyu and the others had almost adjusted after a day of rest. After all, Shiyu had prepared a lot of supplements and resources in advance. Under the paywall battle strategy, there was no need to slowly recuperate. Even the injured Buggy glowed with vitality again under the treatment of various supplements and Ginseng babies. After recovering, 11 and baby Ginseng began to panic. This battle revealed many problems. Buggy used legendary equipment, and although it was being beaten the whole time, it could fight a top-notch overlord for so long. Chapter 673, Chapter 673. Chapter 673, Obtaining 6 Overlord-level Puppets, 3. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. If it were them fighting the green-scaled dragon alone, they would probably be defeated by the green-scaled dragon in less than 3 rounds. If only Buggy was so strong, 11 and baby Ginseng could still accept it. But now, after the battle, Kai Tong's strength might even exceed such a buggy. 11 and Baby Ginseng only felt that it might be harder and harder to get first place in the team. 3 Overlord puppets. Damn it, no, there were 6. Buggy also had one. After that, Suso still had the evolution inheritance of the Blue Sea Sprite waiting, and Ling's mechanical intelligence advantage had gradually appeared. If it fused with the mythical Kirin fossil, who knew how strong it would become? It was too difficult, too difficult. 11 went to Ling. As the saying went, in a 3-man team, there would definitely be an expert. As for Coach Ling, there was something it could help 11 with. At this moment, in Ling's laboratory, several Bin Bears and 9 Li Battle Beast clones were experimental subjects placed on the experiment table. The goal was to study the compatibility method between the iron-eating beast and the superalloy skill. From Shenfeng, Shiyu, and the others couldn't obtain the core technology of the superalloy, but from the perspective of the 7 islands, they still successfully obtained the core technology of the superalloy and the alloy monster. The reason was very simple. The Kuyuan Financial Group had mastered such technology, and Dragon Palace City, the 7 islands, and Dong Huang had directly confiscated the Kuyuan Financial Group. It was undoubtedly very simple to divide some spoils of war. Now, 11 couldn't wait to undergo the next round of evolution. It ran over again to ask about Ling's research progress. But Ling said, don't worry, don't worry. Ling already had a specific idea. It was to modify 11's body and let a certain organ in its body be more similar to the alloy monster. The risk of biological modification was undoubtedly very high. Even it had to carefully ensure that the success rate was 100% before it could help 11 carry it out. Woo! 11 was excited, its big eyes filled with hope. When it fused with the power of light and darkness and evolved again, it would definitely be invincible in the world. One punch, one Overlord puppet. In another part of the ruined space, Baby Ginseng wasn't idle either. As 11 was waiting for an evolution opportunity, it was also researching on its own and had been guarding the Sun Flame Flower Kai Tong had given it. The power of the Sun Flame Flower was undoubtedly in conflict with the power of the Ginseng baby. If Baby Ginseng ate it directly, there was only one outcome, it would be burned to death. It wouldn't strengthen it to the Overlord level. If one wanted to rely on legendary resources to break through to Overlord, there were 2 conditions for resources. One was that the resource was strengthening, and the other was that the resource and the user had to have strength and attributes compatible. However, it was precisely because they weren't compatible that Baby Ginseng's mutation could be used. If the power was compatible, its mutation wouldn't be able to absorb the power of the Sun Flame Flower. The so-called mutants basically had let their bodies come into contact with powers that were not compatible with them. They would mutate and gradually adapt to their physiques in unsuitable environments and powers. The power of the Sun Flame Flower was very violent. To Kai Tong, it was a delicacy, but to Baby Ginseng, it was a ferocious plant that affected life activity. It had only stored 1% of the Sun Flame Flower's power in its body, but it had spent a lot of effort. Its body was at its limit. If it wanted to perfectly absorb the power of the legendary Sun Flame to mutate, relying on transcendent-level mutations might not be enough. It would be very dangerous. Unless it grew to the totem level and mutated with the legendary Sun Flame Flower. But that was meaningless, because at the totem level, it had the ability to optimize its own race. Although Baby Ginseng currently had a chance to revive and could brainlessly absorb and forcefully mutate to take a gamble, Baby Ginseng was still unwilling to act rashly. Firstly, it would waste too much power of the Sun Flame Flower, and secondly, it would waste the opportunity to revive. It wanted to study thoroughly how to maintain a success rate above 100% before mutating. Moreover, this mutation had to awaken a skill that was meaningful to its battle power. Mutations didn't mean success. For example, if Baby Ginseng mutated and got a Sun Flame skill through the Sun Flame Flower. Although the mutation was successful, there were very few enhancements to its battle power. The mutated skill had to be useful to it. Different racial skills had different increases in strength. It wasn't every time that it had the chance to bet on top-notch skills. Because of this and the price of this failure, baby ginseng had to grasp this mutation opportunity by itself. It couldn't be a gambler anymore. Although it was still a gamble in essence, if it made some preparations during the mutation process, it would be a little psychological comfort. At this moment, baby ginseng was sitting beside the sunflame flower, thinking about its conversation with Shiyu. Shiyu, it's best if the mutation this time can increase your attributes in all aspects. Your advantage is that your life force is huge. You can start from this aspect. Endless life potential is hidden in the life force. For example, when the overlords were erupted, the power that far exceeds the limit was squeezed out of the life force. And the risk of doing this is that our life force will be consumed too much and will easily die young. If 11 doesn't have the undying golden body, and if you're not in the team, and if we don't have a huge number of life supplements that can allow 11 and the others to quickly recover after erupting, I definitely won't dare to let 11 and the others squeeze out their life potential frequently. But even so, the eruptions of 11, Susu, Ducky, and the others are only happening one at a time. These are all self-protection mechanisms of life. And your advantage is that the skill proficiency of the source of life might be very high in the future. The recovery of life force will be very fast. Even if you erupt improperly and die, you can still revive. Therefore, the battle method of infinitely squeezing out life potential might be very suitable for you. The time fruit will be obsolete sooner or later. Next, we have to find, study, and squeeze out the potential of the life force. At the moment, baby ginseng could maintain the advantage at the front of the team thanks to the time fruit. However, the upper limit of the time fruit's increase was the overlord level. As everyone entered the overlord level, the time fruit didn't have any huge advantage. Although at that time, the side effects of the time fruit had already been reduced to the lowest as the level of the ginseng baby increased, it was already impossible for them to fight above their level. At that time, not only would Susu and baby ginseng give up on the time fruit, but they wouldn't use this as the tactical core. Therefore, after the overlord level, baby ginseng had to have a new skill that could replace the time fruit and increase its battle power. Only in this way could it maintain its advantage. Therefore, the direction of the mutation this time was best if it was an explosive skill that could squeeze out life potential. Yi? I want to plant a fire seed in my body. This fire seed can erupt with huge energy in the form of burning life force and stimulates my potential at any time. Burning its life force was one way. There was another way, which was to establish the relationship between the sun flame power and the moonlight radiation during the mutation process. The moonlight radiation came from the moonlight, and the moonlight came from the sunlight. If it could absorb the sunlight at the same time during the moon explosion and transform the sunlight into the moonlight radiation, the power of the moon explosion could be even greater. Of course, this might also be possible to increase the proficiency of the moon explosion in the future. It was not the best choice. The best choice was still to burn its life force. After all, after erupting with life potential, its own strength would increase greatly. Then, it could self-destruct. It could also increase the power of the self-destruction. Although baby ginseng understood Shiyu's meaning, it was still not mentally prepared. After all, the price of failure was a legendary resource. Dying was nothing, but wasting a resource would make it very sad. After all, it was given by Kai Tong out of goodwill. Moreover, as baby ginseng thought about it, it cried. What the hell? It was a wood element supplement plant, and its skills were either burning life or self-destructing. Could it still play happily? Chapter 674, Wind Rises, Heavenly Fox 1. Chapter 674, Wind Rises, Heavenly Fox 1. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. After entering the Forbidden Zone of the Lost World from the border of Donghuang and spending 2 days passing through the Forbidden Zone and the Divine Elephant Nation, Shiyu and the others finally arrived at the Heavenly Fox Nation. The Heavenly Fox Nation was very special. It was the only country among the 11 totem countries around Donghuang that didn't have top-notch totems. As for the Divine Tree Nation and the Divine Elephant Nation around Donghuang, the controllers were all top-notch totems. Even the overlord of a huge totem country like the Dragonman Empire, the Tyrant Dragon King, had battle power limits close to the demigod level and had a chance of becoming the new totem king in the East. We're here, Euro? In the ruined space, Shiyu was meditating with his eyes closed, studying his telepathy talent. After eating the undying fruit, his telepathy talent had actually undergone some changes. As time passed, this change became more and more obvious. Shiyu couldn't help but take the time to study it carefully. At this moment, as a slight vibration occurred in the ruined space, Shiyu opened his eyes and understood that the gem cat was knocking on the door, meaning to call them out. Shiyu stood up, ate the blueberry-sized time fruit, and started the initial transformation. The Heavenly Fox Nation and even the surrounding totem countries were similar to the ancient times of Dong Huang. There was no technology here, and the clothes were mainly ancient clothes. If Shiyu wore a modern panda battlesuit and wandered around the streets, he would definitely be instantly exposed. Heiha Euro Shiyu put on the grey robe he had prepared in advance and held a wooden walking stick in his hand. It was actually a tool to seal the bone sword's energy wave. As the time fruit he ate took effect, Shiyu's hair turned grey and silver. At the same time, his face quickly aged, becoming exactly the same as when his life force was sucked dry after adding some super skills. Whoosh! The grey robe trembled, and the grey-haired old Shiyu emitted a twilight aura. At this moment, he was no longer Shiyu, but the evil beast tamer who roamed the totem countries, Lin Ying, Old Demon Lin. The names were from Senior Panda and the Gem Cat. Although his appearance had become older, he still had a very elegant aura. Euro if Lu Bai and Shiyu were still a little similar, then Old Demon Lin and Shiyu were completely different. What's wrong? Shiyu appeared from the ruined space with a walking stick. At this moment, he appeared in an alley in an ancient city. The Gem Cat hid in the alternate space and said, "We're already in the Heavenly Fox Nation. This seems to be the Moon City of some Heavenly Fox Nation. It's one of the hatching locations marked on the map given by the Void Mantis. It's in this city. I searched simply but couldn't find it. It should be in a secret place or something. Next, you have to ask yourself. Oh right, Moon City should be a relatively large city-state in the Heavenly Fox Nation. The ruler seems to be an overlord-level little fox. Although it's not very strong, you have to be careful. Don't attract the fox god. I definitely don't want to fight with the totems. In short, I'm lying down tilde." Shiyu was silent for a moment, indicating that he understood. At the same time, he felt that it was extremely troublesome. Why was the second hatching place of the space beast egg in such a big city? If only it were still a small village like the Seven Islands. It would be extremely easy to find, but this side was clearly like a dragon's pool or a tiger's den. Shiyu sighed and walked out of the remote and dark street. Like an old beggar, he entered the street. On the streets of Moon City, people came and went. Although it was a totem country, this country was still dominated by people. Even the status of human beast tamers was not low. Of course, the fox race had a higher status. Before Shiyu came, he naturally came into contact with sufficient information. In the Heavenly Fox Nation, the highest commander was the Fox God. Under normal circumstances, the Fox God didn't appear in the world. The one who replaced the Fox God to manage the country was a human female beast tamer called the Heavenly Fox Saintess. They were passed down from generation to generation and had legendary strength. They were the spokesperson of the Fox God. As for the 7 overlords under the Fox God, they managed the 7 largest city-states in the Heavenly Fox Nation. At the moment, the Moon City Shiyu was in was the city of the Moon God Fox under the Fox God. Of course, under normal circumstances, the Moon God Fox didn't show its face either. It was just the guardian overlord of Moon City. On the surface, Moon City was still managed by the Moonlight family. They were a human beast tamer family that specialized in helping the Moon God Fox nurture its clansmen. Their status was supreme in Moon City. Beast tamers who could contract the Moon God Fox race were considered superior in Moon City. It could be said that in the Heavenly Fox Nation, they were basically the bosses of the fox race. As for the humans who served the fox race, they were number 2, while the other life races were ranked lower. The Heavenly Fox Nation was a totem country with a higher human status. Because the benefits were relatively good, being above all races below the fox race. They might be living more comfortably than in the 7 countries. This was also the reason why some humans were unwilling to join the 7 countries after the totem battle. After all, joining a human-ruled 7 nations did not mean that they could have a high status as humans. Generally speaking, if beast tamers who betrayed the 7-nation alliance wanted to join, they would only join such totem countries, not countries that treated humans as food and human pets. Of course, if beast tamers were strong enough and reached the legendary level, no matter which totem country they joined, they could become distinguished guests like overlord-level creatures. Depending on the national system, the status of all races in the totem country was also different. The reason why Dong Huang arranged for Chu Ling to be a spy in the Heavenly Fox Nation was because the status of ordinary humans in the Heavenly Fox Nation was relatively high and not easy to discover. Chapter 675, Heavenly Fox, 2. Chapter 675, Heavenly Fox, 2. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. If it was a place like the Dragon Man Empire, although humans were also below the dragon race and above the myriad races, that was only limited to humans of mixed races. If they went there to spy, the pressure would be huge. If I hadn't transmigrated to Dong Huang when I transmigrated, I wonder what would have happened when I transmigrated here. After Shi Yu came out, he muttered in his heart. His clothes were also prepared for the national situation of the Heavenly Fox Nation. He appeared on the busy street and didn't pay much attention. It was quite new for Shi Yu to come to the totem country for the first time. As he walked, he looked around. On the streets, there were cries of vendors and shouts. People like the Candid Hawthorne that Shi Yu was familiar with were also selling here. He even saw adults buying stuff for their children. From the thriving scene on the street, it was impossible to tell that this was the ferocious and violent totem country described in the textbooks. Shi Yu thought for a moment. This was also normal. After all, even in the totem era before the beast taming era, there were also good totems and evil totems. For example, in the totem era, some of the Dong Huang humans survived under the protection of the divine dragon race. They all believed in divine dragons. Even in the current Dong Huang, although humans were the rulers, a large portion of them still believed in divine dragons. According to historical records, the Heavenly Fox Nation was still all right. It had never directly participated in the totem battle with Dong Huang. The Fox God only hugged a bunch of big bosses' thighs everywhere the whole time, preventing the Heavenly Fox Nation from destruction. However, this didn't affect the fact that the Heavenly Fox Nation and Dong Huang were enemies now, because at the moment, the Heavenly Fox Nation's greatest backer was enemies with Dong Huang. The friend of an enemy was the enemy. The Heaven leaderboard has been announced. Shi Yu had only taken a few steps when he heard the street suddenly become noisy. A large number of people gathered towards a wall. Shi Yu took a look and gave up squeezing through the crowd. With a flick of his finger, Buggy's countless dream-stealing worms began to fly all over the city. Soon, Shi Yu understood what the heavenly ranking was and learned a lot of local information. When the World Tournament began, the Heavenly Fox Nation was also invited. However, apart from the Heavenly Fox Saintess, there were no powerful beast tamers in the Heavenly Fox Nation, let alone powerful beast tamers under the age of 30. There was no legendary beast tamer under the age of 30 in the Heavenly Fox Nation. There were even very few level 6 ones. And if one wanted to participate in the World Tournament and have Overlord level battle power, that was the threshold. Therefore, if the Heavenly Fox Nation wanted to participate in the battle, they could only choose the extreme method, which was to take a step back and choose level 5 and level 6 beast tamers who were willing to participate. The chosen candidates had a chance of being chosen by the 7 Overlord Fox clans under the Fox God to fight in the world competition as temporary contractors. A contract above their level. At that time, it would definitely be mainly the Overlord Fox race. As for those human beast tamers, if they wanted to contract above their level, they would definitely have to pay a heavy price, just like the beast tamers of the Divine Tree Nation Shi Yu had encountered previously. However, from the dream memories of the people here, the young beast tamers of the Heavenly Fox Nation didn't seem to be rejected. Most of them were willing to sacrifice themselves and contract the Overlord Fox race at a huge price to fight in the world competition, as if this was a supreme honor. Shiyu also discovered an interesting point. In the 7 countries, people called the competition organized by the World Tree a world competition, and in the Totem countries, more people seemed to call it the Battle of Countries. It was an opportunity for their country to rise. The power of faith is very strong. Shiyu didn't find it strange. If these humans couldn't provide the fox god of the heavenly fox nation with a huge amount of power of faith, it was impossible for them to have such a high status. Miss Yue is indeed on the heaven leaderboard. Yes, it's completely unexpected. After all, she's the pride of our Moon City. Lord Yu hasn't searched for a contractor for nearly 20 years. I wonder if Miss Yue can be chosen by Lord Moon. On the street, there was a flurry of discussion. The discussion about beast taming was not low in Donghuang. Even ordinary people participated in the discussion excitedly. However, this was not what Shiyu cared about. In his opinion, what else could such a person who contracted an overlord above his level be if not cannon fodder? Unless that moon god fox had the strength of a top-notch overlord that wasn't inferior to the green-scale dragon. But even in Dragon Palace City, there weren't many such top-notch overlords, let alone the Heavenly Fox Nation. Shiyu held his walking stick and continued to search for the hatching altar. Before long, Shiyu used a similar method to let Buggy fly to various places in Moon City through the dream-stealing worm to collect information and determine where the Starry Sky altar might be. Are you sure? In the alternate space, the gem cat muttered. Shiyu thought to himself, I've gathered the memories of many people and even let Buggy infiltrate the city lord manor of the Moonshine family. It shouldn't be wrong. The gem cat was surprised. Your efficiency is pretty fast. It felt that even if it came to investigate, it might not necessarily be faster and more stable than Shiyu. Shiyu chuckled and thought to himself, isn't this all thanks to Buggy's dream stealing and phantom skills? The combination of phantom illusion and max-level dream stealing made Shiyu more suitable than most beast tamers to be a spy who stole information. Shiyu felt that he and Buggy should at least have a place in the 10th Bureau's Intelligence Bureau. Of course, Shiyu's current boldness was also related to the overall strength of the Heavenly Fox Nation and Moon City being too lousy. There was no legend in the entire city, only an overlord. Buggy alone could fight the entire city and steal as it pleased. Chapter 676, Heavenly Fox, 3. Chapter 676, Heavenly Fox, 3. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. If it were other targets, Shiyu definitely wouldn't dare to be so bold. For example, in the Shenfeng exchange team at that time, Shiyu definitely wouldn't dare let Buggy invade Dr. Aki's dream to look for mechanical knowledge. After beast tamers reached the legend level, they had too many methods. Apart from beast taming strengthening, there was also etherealization, space manipulation, and sealing techniques. Some legend beast tamers even knew instant transmission, soul out of body, and spirit deterrence. They were already life forms on another level. Although Hua Xiaojin legend just had a few overlords, that wasn't an accurate representation of her strength. In a real life and death battle, legends had a huge advantage over non-legends, especially experienced legends. The gem cat said, so what's the situation? Shiyu said, this depends on the history of the overlord of Moon City, the moon god fox. It was originally an ordinary white fox. It didn't have much of a presence in the fox race of the Heavenly Fox Nation. However, one day, it accidentally discovered an altar. There was nothing special about the altar at the start, but this fox slept right there, leaning against it. Who knew that at night, the power of starlight was especially rich where the altar was? In addition, by chance, this white fox was there for a special astronomical phenomenon. It was lucky to directly mutate and become a star fox. However, this is only an accident. Apart from when there's a special phenomenon, this is just an ordinary altar. However, the mutated star fox still thinks that this altar hides a big secret. However, this is only an accident. Apart from when there's a special phenomenon, this is just an ordinary altar. However, the mutated celestial fox still thinks that this altar hides a big secret. In the past 100 years, in order to study the altar, the moon god fox has invited various capable people to crack it together more than once. It even invited the fox god to study it. However, there were no results. I guess that the altar that made the moon god fox mutate is the altar left behind by the Space Emperor to hatch the Space Beast egg. Of course, the moon god fox mutation was purely a coincidence, like a blind cat bumping into a dead mouse. The contribution of the altar is there, but it's not big. It's mainly because of the special phenomenon. The altar is at most a coordinate, the most suitable coordinate to absorb the power of that starlight, so it just seems like the altar is responsible. The gem cat said, the investigation is very good, but next time change your blind cat metaphor to something else. In addition, if it's really as you investigated, you mean that we should go to the habitat of the moon god fox and fight for the altar. Shiyu fell into deep thought and said, if the moon god fox is guarding its home, this is the only way. The most troublesome thing is that the pet egg needs 1 to 2 days to absorb the starlight. Teacher Ying, do you have a way to instantly kill it without anyone noticing? Directly fighting would attract the attention of the outside world and easily attract the fox god, wouldn't it? The gem cat? How is that possible? The gem cat said. I can't insta-kill it, you do it yourself. Can't? Its habitat is in this city. It's impossible to destroy the layers of barriers without anyone noticing. It will definitely attract the attention of many people, the gem cat said angrily. Moreover, just because it's a totem country doesn't mean that it's a backwater place. Who knows if they have long-range communication methods? Shiyu? Forget it, forget it. Wait, as long as we are nimble enough and let Buggy materialize the moon god fox phantom to deceive the people outside and pretend that nothing happened. Just let it say that it's testing out some skills. Shiyu said. The gem cat said, do you want to gamble on that? There's only one chance. Moreover, if the moon god fox and the fox god have some mental connection, the fox god will also sense it after it dies. Wouldn't it be over? Generally speaking, there's a close faith connection between the totems and overlords of the totem country. If that gets the fox god out and it interrupts the hatching of the pet egg. Unless we kill the fox god, it's impossible to successfully hatch. Ah, Shiyu was like a little shark that had lost its dream. Then lure the moon god fox out for 2 days, Shiyu said. Moon City is quite far from Fox God City and the location of the legendary Mystic Realm. As for the Fox God, it should be in its Fox God City or the legendary Mystic Realm at the moment. As long as we don't cause a big commotion, it shouldn't attract its attention. After all, it's not like the Moon God Fox would contact the Fox God for every little thing that happens. How? Can we use the Mystic Realm? Who? The gem cat was stunned. What do you mean? Shiyu said, use the power of space to open a small Mystic Realm space nearby. We'll use the energy fruit created by baby ginseng that's filled with the fragrance of the moon to attract the moon god fox race over and let the moon god fox be obsessed with cracking the Mystic Realm and not pay attention to its hometown. If it wants to leave, seal it. The gem cat grinned and said, there will definitely be mechanisms in ordinary overlord level habitats. The kind that can be sensed the moment someone enters. Perhaps that Moonlight family will also guard outside the altar. Moreover, what if the fox god's spatial perception is pretty good and I'm sensed when I open up the space? This commotion is much greater than instant transmission. Moreover, its statues are everywhere in the Heavenly Fox Nation. Don't underestimate these statues. Chapter 677, Heavenly Fox, 4. Chapter 677, Heavenly Fox, 4. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. Shiyu rolled his eyes and said, there's the spiritual connection with the totem fox god, and there's mechanisms in place since we're in its territory. You've already blocked off all the options, let's stop caring so much. Let's just do it directly. You're just too cautious. When the time comes, things will always work out. When I do archaeology, it gets to my head and I never consider the risks. Damn, the gem cat muttered. It also felt that it was quite troublesome to think too much. Perhaps the fox god wasn't that free. Just as they finished communicating, a terrifying aura suddenly came from the core of Moon City. A deterrent that shot up circled in the sky, tearing a huge moon mark there. In Moon City, most of the beast tamers and foxes suddenly looked over, as that was the holy land of the moon god Fox Overlord. As the wind and clouds changed, a huge fox more than 10 meters long with light golden hair and starlight lingering around it stepped on the air and soared into the sky, leaving Moon City. Lord Moon God. Seeing this huge fox appear, many mortals and beast tamers in Moon City bowed. Name: a moon god fox. Attributes: light. Race level: mid-level overlord. Level of growth: overlord. Energy points: 61,110,000. Shiyu was stunned for a moment. He looked at the moon god fox that was getting further and further away and pondered for a moment. Although he didn't know what had happened, the moon god fox seemed to have left its hometown. See, everything will work out when the time comes. The moon god fox left on its own. Shiyu thought to himself, there's no one to watch its house now. Teacher Ying, are you confident that we can sneak to the altar without causing any commotion? The gem cat was also silent for a moment before saying, let's give it a try. At the same time, Moon City, City Lord Manor. In a hall, a middle-aged man in an ancient suit with a moonlight symbol was pacing back and forth. Soon, a beautiful woman in the same clothes entered the hall. When she saw the middle-aged man, she bowed slightly and said, Father, you were looking for me. Yue, you saw the Moon Lord leave the city just now, right? The genius beast tamer of the Moonlight family, Yue, nodded and said, Father, did something happen? The head of the Moonlight family said, Lord Moon Master said that there was a problem with the mystic realm that descended in the south. In order to fight for the ownership of the mystic realm, other factions entered the Heavenly Fox Nation. At the moment, the ruins mystic realm seems to be in a confrontation stage. Lord Moon Master was summoned by Lord Fox God to help. Who is it? Yue's expression changed. I'm not sure. However, with Lord Fox God and the Holy Maiden present, there shouldn't be any problems. The Moonlight family head said, Yue, before Master Yu left, she said that you can enter the Holy Land to cultivate in a day. This means that Master Yu should have chosen you. Really? Yue's expression revealed joy. The so-called Holy Land was the habitat of the moon god Fox. The moonlight energy there was rich, and the spatial fluctuations were strong. Not only was it suitable for the growth of the fox race, but it was also very suitable for meditation. If she could go there to cultivate, her strength would definitely improve. Yeah, this is a rare opportunity. The Moonlight family's master also said with an excited expression, this is a token left behind by the moon goddess that lets you in the Holy Land. Shiyu was very high now. Although the gem cat teacher always looked very unwilling before doing anything and looked like it was very, very difficult, every time he did it, everything seemed to turn out very smooth in the end. With the help of the gem cat, they successfully entered the Holy Land where the moon god Fox lived. Although there were layers of barriers and restrictions outside the Holy Land, under Teacher Cat's powerful spatial attainments, it was like picking a lock. They entered very smoothly. After entering, the gem cat was already drenched in sweat. It wiped its sweat with its claws and said, Fortunately, my spatial control doesn't lack training. Otherwise, it would really be a little difficult. This is it. At the same time, Shiyu had already arrived at the most conspicuous altar in the Holy Land. It was this, identical to the starry sky altar in the countryside of the Seven Islands. Shiyu quickly took out the space beast egg. After absorbing the power of the starlight here, the hatching progress was 2 out of 4. South of the Heavenly Fox Nation. Outside the legendary mystic realm that had descended not long ago. Legend Ku and the others, who had already arrived and infiltrated the vicinity, had already made contact with Chu Ling. They also learned something from Chu Ling, who was currently among the Heavenly Fox Guards. They only felt that it was extremely troublesome, especially Legend Kun himself. He didn't expect that apart from Dong Huang, there were also people eyeing this iron-eating beast ruins. What shocked Legend Ku the most was that the leader of the other factions who led the negotiation with the Heavenly Fox Nation was actually the controller of the Seven Islands Ku Yuan Financial Group. Dong Huang, Dragon Palace City, and the Seven Islands searched for a long time but couldn't find the legendary beast tamer of the Seven Islands who used the power of Yunnan to carry out biological experiments. Why would they care about this ruin? Could it be that this ruin was not only related to the iron-eating beast, but also Yunnan? Chapter 678, Shiyu vs. Fox God. Chapter 678, Shiyu vs. Fox God. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. Moon God Fox Holy Land. At this moment, the pet egg on the starry sky altar was absorbing the faint golden light. Under the illumination of the faint golden light, the white and purple striped pet egg continued to emit a halo. Shiyu remembered that the last time he was on the Seven Islands, the starlight that connected the altar to the starry sky seemed to be white. And this time, it turned pale gold. What was the science behind this? Both Shiyu and the Gem Cat were very curious. Unfortunately, they didn't have much research on the power of the starry sky. Even Susu, who had mastered the Star Sea skill, couldn't analyze what was going on with this starlight. Forget it, I'll just follow the inheritance left behind by the Space Emperor. Shiyu gave up on researching. Instead of wasting time on this, it was better to continue researching telepathy. In the 2 months of bitter cultivation in Icefield City, the increase in physique was not what Shiyu cared about the most in the past 2 months. What concerned him the most was the other changes in his body after he ate the undying fruit, which increased his soul power. After his soul power increased, he felt that his telepathy talent was more useful. Using Baby Ginseng and Ling's description, it was just an ordinary conversation when Shiyu used telepathy to talk to them previously. However, recently, Shiyu had used telepathy to talk to them. It was as if the power of the heart could touch their hearts like invisible hands. It was as if Shiyu's spiritual power had materialized. This discovery surprised Shiyu. At the moment, in the world, the highest record for beast tamers with the gift of telepathy was level 8. The records regarding level 7 telepathy and level 8 telepathy after level 6 were quite comprehensive. They had only expanded the range of their telepathy. There were no other special changes. A situation like the one Shiyu's pet sense didn't exist at all. Shiyu tried using the mechanical tyrant dragon and the duckbill beast again. Unfortunately, they didn't experience the same feeling as Baby Ginseng and the others. This made Shiyu certain that only the 6 pets he had contracted could sense the change in his telepathy talent. This speciality was like a beast tamer with a fire element strengthening talent. The strengthening power could only be added to the pet he contracted. After the soul power is strengthened, it can allow the telepathy talent to undergo some special changes. Of course, this enhancement was probably not something that simple pet feedback strengthening could do. Otherwise, the spirit medium beast tamer who had contracted many undead would have long discovered this change. Obviously, the undying fruit strengthening of Shiyu's soul power was very huge. Right on the heels of that, the strengthened soul power and telepathy produced some unknown changes. For Shiyu, this novel thing was completely worth spending time exploring. In any case, he was free while waiting for the cooldown time and the hatching of the pet egg. Shiyu sat in the holy land of the moon god Fox and meditated, his imagination running wild. We can try to develop the telepathy talent. Ordinary fusion talents can only fuse with one pet. Ordinary telepathy talents can only talk to life, but Emperor Wu's fusion talent can fuse with multiple pets. As for the archaeologists of Bureau 11, not only can they talk to living creatures, but they can also listen to the voice of everything. Every beast taming talent is definitely not as simple as it looks. As the individual is different, as the beast tamer develops deeper, it's possible to develop new usage methods, or even mutate. I ate a mythical resource, and after I die, I can even become a totem-level undead. Then, it's impossible for me to not change at all when I'm alive. The undying fruit is already slowly strengthening my soul power. And such strengthening clearly caused some mutations in my telepathy talent. According to the description of Baby Ginseng and the others, it was an ordinary conversation previously, but now, it's like I'm using both hands and a mouth. It feels real? Just from this description, Shiyu had many thoughts. At the moment, apart from the pets he contracted, other pets like the tyrant dragon and the duckbill beast couldn't experience this feeling. But as he developed his telepathy, was it possible for them and even the pets contracted by others to experience it? Generally speaking, telepathy was not mandatory. Only when one's life opened their mind could they communicate. For example, when some beast tamers fought beast tamers with telepathy talent, no matter what opponent they fought, they would seal their pets and their own minds to avoid external interference. They only retained the right to communicate telepathically with their pet and tried to concentrate the most. Therefore, Shiyu was wondering if it was possible for his telepathy to ignore the other party's mental seal and forcefully enter the communication space to apply his thoughts to the other party. It could even imitate the telepathy of the beast tamer of the other party's pet and give the wrong fatal command to the pet. If this could be done, Shiyu felt that it would be very annoying. In high-level battles, an instant of absent-mindedness was almost fatal. Of course, Shiyu felt that this kind of dirty trash talk battle method was meaningless. It didn't match his handsome style at all. He was still wondering if there were any other ways to train telepathy into a battle talent apart from this method. Chapter 679, Shiyu vs. Fox God, 2. Chapter 679, Shiyu vs. Fox God, 2. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. Since ancient times, there had never been a beast tamer with too powerful a telepathy talent. It was because the telepathy talent didn't have much achievement in the battle direction. If he could develop the function of the telepathy talent in battle more, Shiyu felt that his battle power could still go up another level. His train of thought was also very simple. Most strengthening talents strengthened the power of pets by consuming the power of beast tamers. Because of this, many beast tamers would be very weak after battle. During this strengthening process, there was a special connection between beast tamers and pets. If Shiyu wanted to use telepathy to strengthen his pet, he would definitely have to build this connection. This connection was closer to a materialized connection. If it were before, telepathy that could only be used as an ordinary conversation ability would definitely not be able to achieve a deep connection. However, now that the telepathy had mutated, Shiyu felt that he could give it a try. However, he had been experimenting for a long time. At the moment, there were no good effects. And because it wasn't anything important, he didn't trouble Ling to start a research project alone. After all, Ling was busy enough at the moment. Every project was important. At the moment, Ling was trying to study a skill alloy and new inscription. In Ling's research, the armor of the 9-Li battle beast was inextricably linked to the body structure in its body. By eating different metals and carving special patterns on the armor, it could combine the metallidate to change the body structure of the 9-Li battle beast and let it complete its evolution. The evolution of the 9-Li battle beast for the first inscription and the second inscription relied on this. Even the demon god iron-eating beast relied on this mechanism. Therefore, Ling had been using this racial mechanism to create a special alloy food according to the superalloy technology. It planned to cooperate with the inscription method to change 11's compatibility with the superalloy skill. The 10th inscription. Since ancient people could develop 9 inscription evolution paths and figure out the evolution path of the iron-eating beasts without any scientific research conditions, Ling believed that it could do it too. Shiyu let Ling study it. As for the development of telepathy, before Ling was busy, he could only rely on himself to explore blindly. Since telepathy is mutated through the strengthening of the soul, perhaps I can strengthen my pet through the method of a spirit body. What's the most common strengthening method for spiritual bodies? Obviously, possession. If I can use my soul power as a shell, my telepathy as a bridge, and my mental and physical energy as energy, I can condense a substitute and possess my pet. Perhaps my pet's strength can also be strengthened. I don't think there's such a beast taming talent, right? Condense your body's energy and transform into a pure energy body, which is a shrunken version of yourself. Possess your pet and let yourself become one with your pet. Then here's the problem. What should I do? Shiyu muttered. He couldn't mobilize his soul, spirit, and physical energy, let alone condense a nascent soul. But according to what he knew, mixed-blood beast tamers could mobilize some extraordinary power. For example, some mixed-blood beast tamers could awaken mental deterrence after reaching the legendary level. Some beast tamers with mixed blood could even try to let their souls leave their bodies after reaching the legendary level. But this had nothing to do with pure-blooded human beast tamers. Could it be that he really had to stop being a human to play the game happily? No. No. Now, Shiyu had a new idea every day. Today, he even wanted to condense the nascent soul. Beast taming, immortal cultivation. Stop dreaming. As Shiyu was engrossed in his fantasies and experiments, a day passed in the blink of an eye. Before the current space beast egg could finish absorbing the energy, the gem cat kicked Shiyu awake and said, "Stop dreaming. The barrier has been opened." Someone entered. F***CK? Shiyu suddenly woke up and said, "Why is the moon god fox back so quickly?" He took a quick look at the egg and heaved a sigh of relief. But it's not a big problem. The egg will be finished absorbing in a while. This time, even if the fox god comes, we have to hold on. Now, the light of the egg had gradually dimmed. According to his previous experience, it would take less than half an hour. Don't worry, it's not that moon god fox. It seems to be a human. It's not very strong. You settle it yourself, Tilda. Just as the gem cat's sleepy voice fell, the surrounding spatial power fluctuated. A woman in white ancient clothes and a monarch-level star moon fox were teleported into the moon god fox holy land and not far from Shiyu and the others. At this moment, just as they descended, the eldest daughter of Moon City, Yue, was filled with joy. Beside her, the star moon fox was also filled with joy. After all, it was too rare to enter such a holy land to cultivate. However, their expressions suddenly stiffened. They saw Shiyu, who had disguised as an old man with a sinister aura, sitting beside the moon god fox's altar and looking at them with empty eyes. "Who are you?" Yue was immediately shocked when she saw Shiyu. There shouldn't be anyone else in the Moon Master Holy Land. She had been chosen by the moon god fox to cultivate, but she had never heard of anyone else being here. Named Star Moon Fox. Attributes: Light. Race level: High-level Monarch. Chapter 680, Shiyu vs. Fox God, 3. Chapter 680, Shiyu vs. Fox God, 3. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. Level of growth, Monarch level. Energy points, 1,660,000. When Shiyu saw the other party, he instantly determined her identity. He and Buggy had investigated many memories and recognized her at a glance as the eldest daughter of Moon City. She was also the only beast tamer in Moon City who had reached level 6 under the age of 30. It was a little weak. Not to mention comparing it to the beast tamers in the top 100 of the Dong Huang sequence, even compared to those guys in the National League, this girl wasn't strong. According to the information gathered by Shiyu, the elite beast tamers of the Heavenly Fox Nation basically only cultivated spatial strength and environment. They didn't go bigger in scale. They only contracted one fox in their lives and didn't contract a second pet. From a certain perspective, they were also dedicated. However, this was also normal. The fox race was supreme in the Heavenly Fox Nation. How could they let their poop pickers serve other foxes at the same time? Gigi, since you've discovered us, stay. Shiyu's hoarse voice sounded. Under the other party's panicked expression, a grey mist appeared above them. In the grey mist, dark blue eyes lit up. Accompanied by a terrifying deterrence, a huge tiger spirit that emitted an evil aura appeared. Overlord level, Ice-Eyed Tiger Spirit. At this moment, the gem cat couldn't help but complain beside the alternate space. F***CK, this guy was even addicted to cosplaying now? What was with that laugh? Seeing this evil necromancer cosplay, it decided to give full marks. Don't kill them. Their social status isn't low. Search their souls first and see if there's any valuable information. Shiyu gave Kai Tong an order in his heart. The tiger spirit was controlled by the bone sword. The bone sword was controlled by Kai Tong, and Kai Tong was controlled by him. This layer of nesting dolls made Shiyu feel that it was quite troublesome. Kai Tong. Wasn't this just searching their memories? What did this guy mean when he changed it to the searching of souls? With the director experience of filming a few movies, Kai Tong also gave Shiyu full marks. The next time Legend Mu Huiyin started filming, it would invite Shiyu to be the villain. The person who came was only a weak chicken. Shiyu and the Gem Cat didn't mind, but this little genius of Moon City and the Star Moon Fox were extremely frightened. Overlord level undead. Legend level spirit medium. They were in trouble. Moon City. Moon Master Holy Land. An invader had appeared. Unfortunately, it was too late. Under the perfect deterrence of the Overlord level, the human and Fox's consciousness were already on the verge of fainting. A huge crisis lingered on their bodies. However, just as Yue and the Star Moon Fox thought that they were about to die, suddenly, in the center of Moon City, a huge fox statue suddenly lit up and similarly erupted with a huge might. Buzz! This power directly acted on Yue and the Star Moon Fox. The powerful force was even stronger than the Ice-Eyed Tiger Spirit. In an instant, it sent the Ice-Eyed Tiger Spirit flying. At this moment, Shiyu and the Hidden Gem Cat's expression suddenly changed. They felt an Overlord-level power. This power was even stronger than the Ice-Eyed White Tiger and even the Mountain Tortoise when they were alive. As for the Star Moon Fox and Yue, who had been saved by the mysterious power, their faces were pale and they were drenched in sweat. Wu tilde 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 her Star Moon Fox let out a miserable cry.